Struggling to get sharp, powerful wildlife photos? Most of us think the answer is buying a $13,000 lens. But if I was starting in 2025, which lens would give me the best results? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, I'm going to tell you something about lenses that's going to save you a ton of money and frustration. Alright guys, let's talk about the lens that everyone dreams of. The one that promises sharper images, better reach, and maybe even a better life. Alright guys, I have to confess, when I was younger, I only thought of having this huge, massive lens. It was a lens that was the badge of honor for every single photographer. If you had one, you belonged. If you didn't, you felt like an amateur. But here is the real question. Are these lenses just about status? Or are they the kind of tool that will speed up your wildlife photography career? Alright, let's break down f-stop, focal length, and weight. Because if you don't understand these three things, you will always keep chasing gear instead of mastering photography. Let's start with f-stop. Why does f-stop matter? If I was starting in 2025, I would stop wasting all those years trying to figure out my look. It took me so long to realize the look I wanted was hidden within one choice: the f-stop. I always loved a shallow depth of field. I love the fall off, because to me, our eyes don't care about what's unimportant. Think about when you're talking to somebody. You can see their nose, you can see their ears, but you don't look at them. You focus on their eyes. That's what a wide f-stop does in a camera. It blurs what doesn't matter. It makes your audience see what you want them to see. And when I matched that fall off with just the right noise from the ISO, my look was born. That's when all my images started to look like mine. Here's the tricky part though. Your eyes see everything clearly, but your brain decides what to focus on. The lens does not have that brain. But unlike your eyes that has things moving constantly, a photograph is always frozen in time. So the only way to guide your viewer is to use the f-stop as a tool. If I was young in 2025, the lens I would use is the one that would give me the same kind of look like a human's eye. The one that lets me direct my audience and shows my clients exactly where I want them to see, so I can make them feel the way I want them to feel. But is f-stop enough on its own? Or is there more you need to know before choosing a $13,000 lens? Let's define the second piece that defines your look: the focal length. Alright guys, so why the focal length matters? When it comes to wildlife photography, my personal taste leads towards two things: full-length images with a touch of background, and tight portraits that show details. Why? Because I love to see the whole picture. I don't like to cut off the ears, neither do I like to cut off the toes. To me, without the animal's ears or maybe sometimes the toes, it feels incomplete. It feels unfinished. It feels not there. But I also want the environment just enough so I can tell the story. And here is the twist. Sometimes cutting off body parts works better. Sometimes a tighter crop creates curiosity. It keeps the audience wondering. It keeps them inside the frame. So which focal length let me do both? For me, it's always been the 400 to 600 millimeter range, because I plan my images ahead of the time and position myself at the exact distance I want, right there on location. And then there is the background. The way the 400mm or a 600mm crushed the background, it's absolutely unmatched. I've tried a 200mm. I have tried even a 300mm with a teleconverter. No, the crush is not the same. The crush is just unbelievable with the 400 and the 600. The separation between the subject and the background, that is what I fell in love with. It's the look I want my audience and my clients to feel. So when I'm in the field, I'm always sizing up one thing: the distance between my subject and the background. Because that's where the magic happens. And that's why, if I was starting in 2025 again, I would choose the lens that would be 400 or 600 millimeter range. It delivers the look I believe in. So that's it, right? No, that's not it. There's one more thing every single wildlife photographer has to face, and that is the weight. Okay, so let's talk about the weight factor. Let's be honest, the weight is a killer. I'm tired. I am so tired. I'm lazy. I hate carrying these heavy lenses. But here's the twist. I actually love the heavy weight. It serves me. Why does it serve me? Because it pushes me to work out. And working out keeps me healthy, makes me feel better, and helps me avoid getting sick. If I want to stay on top of my game, if I want to keep creating the look I believe in, I need to be able to carry these heavy lenses. And the only way to carry those lenses is to stay strong, to work out, to keep my body ready for it. And that routine, that discipline keeps me young. So in a strange way, these lenses give me two gifts. They challenge my photography and they make me focus to take care of myself. Whoever said good things always come easy? The truth is, the harder things, the heavy things, the things that challenge you in life, they are the ones that make you smarter, stronger, better. Running with the buffalo, it's a workout. And they help you shape your future. But here's what most people never realize. All this effort, all this weight, it leads you to one simple truth. You don't have to own it to master it. Alright guys, here is the twist. Everything I've said so far in this episode, the f-stop, the focal length, the weight, it all points to one thing: a very expensive lens. And here's the real question. If I was starting in 2025, how could I afford a $13,000 lens right from the get-go? The answer will surprise you. Rent, rent, rent. Hollywood does it, so why can't we as photographers do the same thing? Just rent. If I was starting again in 2025 as a wildlife photographer, I wouldn't buy the big lenses. I would rent. And if I had the money to spend, I would spend it on going to places that inspire me. The North Pole, the Arctic, the wild corners of the world. Because here's the truth. My job is not to own the lens. My job is to create photographs for my audience and my clients. Renting helps me to do that. It helps me from crazy costs. It gets me into the field. And it lets me show the world what they cannot see with their own eyes. Rent and show the world things it has never seen before. If I was starting in 2025, I would master the technical side of photography and make it second nature. Because when the technical becomes automatic, you free yourself to focus on what really matters: the story, the emotions, and the connection you create with your subject. That's the difference between a good photographer and a photographer that creates unforgettable images. So start building that foundation now. Watch these videos next. They'll help you get technically better faster and save years of frustration. Alright guys, see you in the next episode. Speak later.